Today's topic I'm going to talk about is this self-test for your mental illness from the Buddhism point of view, and you already have it. When you hear the words like mental disease or mental illness, you might think it's something you have to see psychotherapists or psychiatrists for. But the mental disease taught in the Buddhist teaching is a disease of mind that everyone has. Without exception, almost everyone has the disease. This is what Shakyamuni Buddha said. Even psychiatrists and psychotherapists who diagnose and identify many diseases have the mental disease. This is one of the Buddhist teachings. And we also have the disease. Today, I'm going to talk about what this is all about. I think some people will like today's story, but others might not. There will be arguments for and against the story. But as today's topic is essential to understanding teachings of Buddhism, I'll talk about it today. I'd like you to check whether you have the mental disease after watching this video. Let's get started. Here are today's contents. First, what is the darkness of mind? Second, why is it a disease? I'm going to talk about these two topics. The darkness of mind. In Buddhism, the mental disease is called the darkness of mind. Everyone has the disease named the darkness of mind, or Mumio no Yami in Japanese. The first kanji Mumio means no light. The second kanji Yami means darkness. They together indicate a dark mind. The Buddha said everyone has a dark mind. A dark mind means unclear mind or ignorance in Japanese language. In Japanese, if you say you are dark about this area or neighborhood, it means you are not familiar with this area. And if you say that politician is a dark man about the economy, it means he doesn't know much about the economy. So a dark mind means ignorance or an unclear mind. So when you say the darkness of mind or dark mind, what are you dark or unclear about? The dark mind after life. In other words, it's called the darkness of mind. Please let me explain what the word afterlife means here. Everyone must die someday. Death is our definite future event. So we're definitely going to bump into the wall of death sooner or later. Then what happens after we bumped into the wall? This is called the afterlife. The mind that doesn't know what happens after death. That is the dark mind after life, namely the darkness of mind. Someone says there's nothing after we die, and someone else says there's the heaven after death. Each one of us has our own belief about afterlife. So some people think there's nothing after they die, and they firmly believe that there is absolutely nothing. But that's not necessarily true. Science hasn't proven that there is nothing. Some brain scientists who won Nobel Prizes in neuroscience argued that it is natural to think that there is nothing after death, or it is logical to think there is something beyond death. But no conclusion was reached in the heated arguments for and against. As the sciences and academics are poised between these positions, they still can't say whether there's a world after death. So even if there is some answer to the question, they can't prove it. Since there is no one has ever come back from death to tell the story, there is no way to prove what happens after being dead. Also, some people say there's the heaven after we die. When a celebrity passed away, people say he would be having a drink with his wife in the heaven by now, or he would be watching over us from the heaven. What kind of place is the heaven? Many people talk about the heaven, but what is the heaven like? From the sound of it, the heaven must be a great place. It'd be great if we can go to a nice place. We can just go to the other world. If we are tired of long years of enduring terrible pains from some illness, but for some reason people make a lot of efforts to live despite their suffering, and people hesitate to commit suicide no matter how much they suffer, that's because they have no idea about the afterlife and are afraid of it. If we knew that the heaven is a fun place we can go to, we could say that dying or committing suicide is not a bad thing. After all, we don't know anything about it. People say meifuku oi noru, meaning you wish happiness for the soul, after someone passed away, even though they say there is nothing after death. Meifuku means happiness in Meido, which is the other world after death. So people pray for someone's happiness after death. For some reason, humans want to do it. Even someone who always used to say there was nothing after death. Say that his deceased son might be missing and crying for his mom now, and folds his hands together in prayer for his son's happiness in the world of death. This is deeply rooted in human nature. Just knowledge, like there's nothing after life or there's the heaven after death, can't remove our fear about afterlife. And we put our hands together to pray for someone's happiness after death. Not as a part of social platitude, but truly out of compassion. We naturally feel this when someone close to us passed away. There's the Japanese word ire, meaning memorial. On 6th August, marked as the day of atomic bombing in Hiroshima, and 15th August is the anniversary of the end of the war, we hear the siren at the National High School baseball stadium and pray silently. This event is ire sai, memorial service. The kanji ire literally means consoling the souls. If there's nothing after death, we don't have to console the souls. And if there is a great place after being dead, there is no need to console. There is this human nature that can't help consoling the souls of the dead. This is because the human nature has a dark, unclear mind about the afterlife, whether or not you think there is nothing after death or there is the heaven. So we can't help putting our hands together, and we are also afraid of our own afterlife. So we all have this dark mind. That is called the darkness of mind in Buddhism. Why is it a disease? Why is ignorance of afterlife called a disease? When we don't know the chemical composition of Pluto meteoroid, it isn't called a disease. Whatever compositions the Pluto meteoroid is made up of, we wouldn't worry about it. Of course, someone wants to know it out of curiosity, but no one gets anxious about it or suffers from not knowing it. But the ignorance of afterlife casts a deep shadow on our mind. This is why the darkness of mind is called a disease. Why do we suffer? Even if we save a lot of money, we are surrounded by many people, or technology develops and makes our lives easier. Our mind has never been truly satisfied. The Buddha teaches that that's because where we are headed is dark. The future has a big influence on our present mind. If the future is dark, our present mind is also dark. If you have a critical exam 5 days later, you'd feel depressed now. Then you have to prepare for the exam and can't feel relaxed. You can't enjoy TV or video games. If the exam determines the direction of your life, you would feel nervous and can't enjoy anything. Your mind becomes like that. Until you finish the exam, your mind would feel heavy. Or let's say when you had a medical checkup, a doctor said you might have cancer. Then you did a CT and MRI scan, and the doctor said you would get scan results 3 days later, and told you to come to the hospital again. You'd feel very depressed thinking they might have found it this time, or what if it's terminal cancer? You would be thinking whether the doctor says it's all fine or says with a serious expression on his face that they found something bad. Your mind would be restless until your result comes out 3 days later. Until 3 days later, you don't know what the doctor would say. So, you can't enjoy your hobbies such as golf, and you can't feel satisfied and would feel restless and anxious. In this case, it's the diagnosis result coming out in 3 days that makes your mind dark and gloomy. We could say that the diagnosis affects your present mind a lot because the future is unknown. Every single one of 7 billion human beings is headed for the dark destination. Everyone keeps moving towards it. You might hit the wall of death tonight at the earliest. So we can't be satisfied no matter how much money or power we have. That's because our destination is dark and unclear. We can't bring money or power beyond the wall of death. So we are worried and scared about where we are going all alone. All of the 7 billion humans keep heading towards it only to be pushed off the edge. Therefore, all humans can't truly feel satisfied or peaceful. So the Buddha firmly said the darkness of mind is a fatal disease, and Buddhism shows us how to cure the disease. The teachings of Buddhism are for eliminating the darkness of mind so you can live a healthy life. If you can break free of your darkness of mind, you will feel happy in a true sense and gain the absolute happiness. This is what the Buddha taught. Today, I talked about the darkness of mind. I'd like to know what you think. I'll be happy if you leave a comment. Based on your comments, I'll decide what to talk about for the next video. In a sense, I'm trying to clarify what the darkness of mind is from the various angles on this channel. For those who might have enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much for today.